Ryan, talk to us, give us the background here. What's going on between Intel and Nvidia? How big of a deal could this be for Intel?
Well, if Nvidia were to start using Intel's chip processing, that would be an absolutely massive change for Intel. As I'm sure you know, Intel has really for years been struggling against perception that it is really falling behind in terms of chip manufacturing, as it is losing out business, especially to Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Co. So this would be a potentially huge deal, and there was some optimism that Nvidia's investment in Intel earlier this year was maybe a signal that it would start using that in order to make its most advanced AI chips. Now, I don't think anyone was really betting on that, but certainly the report today that they're stopped using the testing, that they're stopped testing this process, that is a reason for people to be at least a little bit disappointed in the short term.
So Ryan, of course, in focus is this 18A process by Intel, right? What can you tell us about this and why is it so special?
Well, obviously, Intel is trying to get on par with TSMC in terms of being able to make the most advanced chips, which are so intricate, so small, so highly designed. And obviously, manufacturing those is an incredibly difficult process. So as each company tries to improve its manufacturing capabilities in order to get into these more and more advanced chips, it's very difficult to, once you fall behind, to sort of catch up to the latest generation there. So there was a lot of optimism with Intel that it would be able to reestablish its industry leadership in chip manufacturing. It's gone through a couple of CEOs. It's been spending a lot of money. It has been opening new factories, all with the goal of regaining that chip manufacturing leadership. And this is just another indication that the most advanced manufacturing is maybe not up to par yet. They're not quite able yet to compete as aggressively as some of the other major players.
But Ryan, just remind us here, refresh our memories here. Isn't there a U.S. government investment in this, in
Intel, yes.
Intel, and also Nvidia investing in Intel? Don't they have serious backing here?
Yes, they do have some backing from all these major companies, but it is extremely expensive to get this kind of chip manufacturing up to par and compete with TSMC, which is also opening a chip here in the United States. There's security issues surrounding domestic chip manufacturing. There's a lot of interest in getting this chip manufacturing done here in the United States. Intel is trying, TSMC is trying, in order for all these national security grounds. So there's a lot of optimism in terms of Intel being able to do this, a lot of interest in this. However, like I said, it seems like they're having some difficulty getting up to par with some of the bigger competitors, even with those kinds of backings.
Yeah, for sure. And, Ryan, then since you mentioned TSMC and Intel very much competing with a company or wanting to, what's the word on the street then? How does this headline work for Intel's credibility? Are there now doubts that it is going to be able to compete with TSMC moving forward?
Well, there already were doubts because getting, kind of bridging that technological gap was seen as a very ambitious goal. There was some optimism. Like I said, they had been investing very aggressively in this. They had been getting backing from, like you said, the government and Nvidia. I don't think anyone was really expecting that they would be able to close this gap this quickly. So I'm not sure that this report out of Reuters would be seen as a huge surprise, all else being equal. But certainly this is something that people really were watching, really looking for. And they are not yet ready to compete with the likes of TSMC. I'm not sure that's a huge surprise, but it certainly is at least a disappointment on a holiday shortened day when I think trading is a little bit quieter.
What's Intel saying in its defense here, or does that have anything to say?
It has said that its 18A processing is on track with their own schedule, so I think that's it. I don't think they commented, or neither has Nvidia commented on the Reuters report specifically.